here on Short and Steam with Roshmo. I'm Leah from Romance on Instagram, and here we are with our second episode of the series. And sorry if I sound a little congested. Naturally, when my boys get sick, I catch it as well. So I'm here this week starting off with a little bit of a cold and just kind of trucking through this week. Just a quick side note, it's been a little bit of a rough start to this week for me. This past weekend, I lost my cousin very quickly. It all unfolded over 2 days, and I'm still kind of processing that. And I just wanted to kind of be in a space, a calm space, a book space, just to kind of get me through this week. So don't mind me if I kind of sound a little bit off, but I wanted to get this episode out this week. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to talk about in this episode, but I think we're going to go with a series recommendation is what I want to start off with. If you were able to listen to my last episode, towards the end, I mentioned that I loved grabbing book recommendations from Book Talk. Towards the end of the year, I finished it with a Mafia romance series that I absolutely loved. And it's still kind of on my mind. I still haven't gotten over it, and I still want to go back and read it again and again because no other book has been able to come up to it since then. And I feel like it's kind of left me in a reading slump still, and we're already 3 weeks into the new year. The series is called the Bratva series by TJ Maguire. There's 4 books in this series, and each book is a standalone. But there is a series arc going on, and the first 3 books are the siblings, so they're brother and sisters, and then the last one is a book of, actually I don't know if I should say, maybe that's a spoiler, I don't know, obviously you can go check out the blurb for it and see, but they're all connected, which I really loved it. I love the family dynamics in this. It's hilarious to me. I'm the youngest of 4 and I have 3 older brothers, so it was kind of funny to just listen to them interact throughout the entire series. I think that was one of my favorite parts. I will say this is a dark romance series. It's just, there's a lot of violence. It's pretty graphic, so I would definitely check out the content warnings or trigger warnings for each book, because yeah, it's a lot and it's pretty gruesome. It was more gruesome than I expected to be. I don't know if this is the darkest series or books that I've read, but it was getting there, at least for me. I have a terrible habit of starting a series at the wrong point. So I actually read book 3 first, and then I went and I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. And when I actually went to go check it out, that's when I found out that it was book 3 in the series. So I kind of kept going because I was like, well, why not? And plus, the way that book 3 ended, it leads into the 4th book. And so then I read book 3, which is Bratva Night. And then I went into book 4, which is Bratva Butcher. And then after that, I started back over and I read the first 2 books. So book 1 is Bratva Bride, which she is the daughter of this family. And I loved her. She is a badass. I will say the one thing that is very common besides the family dynamics and just the comedic moments between them is that all the FMCs, or the female main characters, are absolute badasses. I would not want to be on their bad side at all. And another favorite thing of mine in this series is that the male main characters treated them as equal. They were always equal to them, and I love that. They wouldn't, as much as they wanted to, just barge in and take over and be like the alpha male, which they all very much are. But they always stood side by side by their partner, and I love that. Especially with Mafia romances, I always feel like it's the male counterpart coming in and being the hero and just be like, don't do this, and kind of saving the FMC, which is fine. I don't mind reading that, but I feel like in a lot of the Mafia romances that I've read, it hasn't quite been like this. I'm quite obsessed with this series, and I just keep thinking about it a lot, so I just might go do another reread of this whole series. This is the Bratva series by TJ Maguire. Book 1 is Bratva Bride, book 2 is Bratva Prince, book 3 is Bratva Night, and then book 4 is Bratva Butcher. As of right now, I think it's going to be a 5-book series, and so there'll be one more, at least that I know of, unless she decides to write another one, which I'm definitely anticipating. I really love how this is written. I am a big fan of interconnected standalones in a series, but I also feel like when you read a book, you have the characters, and then you go to the next book, you'll just see like a quick cameo of them, and you never hear or see them again. In this one, you'll be seeing everybody quite a bit throughout the whole series, so you kind of see them. Once you get past their own individual books, you'll see them kind of still growing as a character, which was really great. I love seeing that because I definitely loved all of them even more by the end of book 4. Throughout this whole series, you will get teased for what's to come in book 5. So I will kind of say it's not really too much of a spoiler, but it will be a stalker romance. And the FMC is the stalker, which I have not seen a book like that yet. So I'm very curious to see how this one turns out. I'm so happy that I came across this recommendation because it was definitely a major highlight to my last month of reading. So, Bratva series by TJ Maguire, definitely recommend it, but please do check the warnings for the content on that one just in case. At the end of my last episode, I shared the books that I was currently reading and listening to, and I thought with every new episode that I put out, I would kind of do a recap of them and share what I thought about those books, but I decided to pause all those books for now. So on Storygraph, I don't know if for anyone that's on there, you can DNF a book or you don't finish a book, but you also can pause a book and just kind of change the status to pause, and then it'll go in its own little category, and then when you get back to it, you can pick it up again. So I paused 3 books last week. Earlier, yeah, I paused 3 books this past weekend. I'm not reading them. I'm not gravitating to it as much as I wanted to. And plus, one of them was a library hold that lapsed over, so I had to return it. So now I'm kind of waiting to get it back again. But I started, of course, 3 new books. I picked up 2 audiobooks. The one that I've been mostly reading is 5 Broken Blades by Mike Horland. And this one is really good. I got the audiobook for this from my library. I'm really enjoying it, but I struggle with fantasy books on audio with multiple point of views because I am struggling on who's who. So I recently just bought the physical copy for it, so I'm going to be listening and annotating on my physical copy at the same time, so I kind of keep track of who's who. It's really good so far. I'm only halfway through, but it is very good. So this might be a recommendation for the year, but we'll see how the next half goes. The other book I started is an ARC or advanced reader copy of The Art of You by Brittany Sahin. And this is book 3 in her Close to Family series. So these books, the first 2 books were published through Montlake, but the third one she published independently. And I was able to get an ARC for it because I really enjoyed the series. But I have been struggling reading with my eyes lately, so I'm reading this one very slowly. It's a romantic suspense. I am enjoying it. The action pretty much kicks off right at the beginning of the book. And we're kind of hitting a point where things are kind of escalating in the story. So I want to get back to this, but I just want to be able to read with my eyes. I'm hoping to finish these books by the end of the week. And hopefully I will have a recap up for you next week. Thank you for being here if you made it towards the end of this episode. Sorry my voice was kind of going towards the end of this one. But I made a blog post about this series recommendation that you can check out. I'll link it through in the description. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great rest of the week. Hug your loved ones and happy reading.